If your avoidant partner suddenly grows quiet, if their voice softens and their presence starts to fade, don't rush to assume they've stopped loving you. Sometimes that silence isn't disconnection. It's fear fighting love. It's a heart that's never known safety trying to understand what peace feels like. Avoidants don't show love in the way you expect. When they feel something real, their instinct isn't to hold tighter, it's to step back. Not because you did something wrong, but because what they feel inside suddenly matters too much. Their body remembers the ache of being close and then hurt. So when they start caring, they start protecting, not you but themselves. And that's what confuses you, because what looks like distance is actually the first sign of depth. What feels like withdrawal is often their quiet way of saying, I'm scared to lose this. So before you decide they don't care anymore, pause within yourself and look deeper. Listen to the silence between you. There's a story unfolding there, one that begins right where most people give up. When an avoidance starts to soften, you're not witnessing rejection, you're witnessing transformation, a fragile shift between fear and love. And if you walk away too soon, you'll never see what that transformation could have become. Avoidants don't show love like others do. They don't use grand gestures, promises, or poetic words. Their love lives in the subtle, in moments so quiet, you might almost miss them. It's in the way they linger before leaving, in the slight hesitation when you turn away, in the messages they almost send, but delete instead. They love in whispers, not in declarations. When an avoidant starts to let their guard down, it rarely looks romantic. It looks awkward. It looks uncertain. It looks like someone trying to walk barefoot on glass. Cautious, slow, afraid to break something fragile. You'll notice it in the way their eyes soften when they think you're not looking, the way they sit closer, but not too close, the way they open up, just a little, and then retreat, testing the water of your patience. Their love isn't loud. It's a quiet battle between safety and surrender, and every small step toward you is a victory you might never see, because for them, love has never felt safe. Affection has always come with a shadow of disappointment, rejection, or loss. So when they start showing up, even inconsistently, that's not avoidance, that's courage in disguise. They may not say, I miss you, but they'll scroll through your pictures late at night, replaying the sound of your laugh. They may not say, I need you, but they'll check if you're online, hoping you'll reach out first. They may not say, I love you, but their silence will feel heavy, not because they're gone, but because they're thinking of how not to mess this up. The truth is, avoidants feel everything deeply. They just don't know how to let it live outside of them yet. So if you ever notice the hesitation, the quiet presence, the subtle warmth that wasn't there before, don't dismiss it. That's not confusion, that's progress. That's love, learning how to be brave. Inside the avoidant, there's a quiet storm. Half of them wants to stay. The other half wants to run. They crave connection, but fear what it might reveal, because real love exposes everything they've spent years hiding. The wounds, the shame, the fear of being seen and still being left. To you, it might look simple. They pull away, they come close, they disappear again. But inside, it's chaos. Every step forward feels like danger. Every moment of warmth feels like risk. They've built their safety on distance, a shield made of control, silence, and self-sufficiency. Love threatens that structure, because love asks for vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like surrender. So even when they want you, their mind argues against it. It whispers, don't get too close, you'll lose yourself again. It warns, if they see the real you, they'll walk away just like the others did. Their heart and mind never move in the same direction. The heart reaches out, the mind pulls back. The moment they start to care, they also start to panic. You might think they don't feel, but the truth is, they feel too much. They just don't know what to do with it. They try to regulate emotions by withdrawing, believing space will bring clarity. But in that space, the ache only grows. They scroll through old messages, stare at your name, and wonder if it's safe to come back. They fight the urge to reach out, not because they don't miss you, but because missing you makes them feel powerless. And that's the conflict they live in, the longing to love versus the fear of losing control. For most avoidants, love feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, beautiful, terrifying and uncertain. Part of them dreams of jumping. The other part keeps holding the rail. They don't realize yet that the safety they're clinging to is the very thing keeping them from feeling alive. And this is the part most people misunderstand. They walk away right when the avoidance starts to open, because they mistake fear for rejection, when in truth, it's transformation. You see, the avoidant doesn't run because you're unworthy. They run because you're real. You've touched something in them they've spent years trying to bury. The need to be loved without having to earn it. When love starts to feel safe, it confuses them, because for so long safety came from being alone. They built walls, not out of arrogance, but out of survival. So when you knock softly on those walls, and they start to shake, it feels like their world is collapsing, even though it's just opening. Most people never stay long enough to see the difference. They see the silence, the retreat, the confusion, and take it personally. But the truth is, your presence isn't pushing them away, it's awakening them. This is the moment love becomes a mirror. You reflect back to them everything they've never faced. Their tenderness, their fear, their capacity to care. It's overwhelming, even painful, because it challenges the identity they've built to survive. And here's the quiet irony. When an avoidant pulls away after feeling close, that distance isn't rejection, it's recalibration. They're trying to make sense of emotions that don't fit their rules. It's easy to take their pause as a goodbye, but sometimes that pause is sacred. It's where they process, heal, and prepare to come back differently. So don't confuse silence with absence. Don't label their retreat as the end. Sometimes, love's greatest test isn't about holding on tighter. It's about holding space while they learn what love truly means. Because transformation isn't always visible. Sometimes it happens quietly, in the moments when both hearts are learning how to stay. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to prove your worth. Love doesn't require pursuit. It requires presence. When your avoidant partner pulls away, the old version of you will want to react, to explain, to fix, to reach for them, thinking your effort will make them feel safe. But it won't, because safety isn't built through words or reassurance. It's built through energy. Your calm teaches their fear what safety feels like. Your silence teaches their chaos what peace sounds like. Your consistency, even in distance, shows them love doesn't demand. It simply is. When you stop chasing, you stop reinforcing their fear. You become the still point in their storm. The one thing that doesn't pressure, doesn't guilt, doesn't pull, just stays grounded in self-worth. And that's what their nervous system is searching for, even if they don't know it. Because an avoidant's heart doesn't open through persuasion. It opens through peace. It opens when it senses that love won't drown it, won't demand it, won't punish it for needing space. So instead of reacting to their distance, respond with understanding. Instead of questioning your value, remember it. You are not losing them by standing still. You're showing them what real connection looks like. Calm, respectful, patient. The irony is, the moment you stop trying to prove your love is the moment they start to feel it. Because your peace becomes magnetic, your stillness becomes safety, and your silence starts to whisper something they've never felt before. I'm safe here. You see, control was never about holding them close. It was about holding yourself steady, because the more grounded you are in your worth, the more their fear begins to rest, and that's when love finally has room to breathe. The shift isn't in their words, it's in their effort, because when an avoidant starts trying, even awkwardly, quietly, inconsistently, that's love learning how to breathe again. You'll notice it in ways that don't look like love at first. In the text they finally send after days of silence. In the small apology that isn't perfect, but sincere. In the way they remember something about you, something you said when you thought they weren't listening. That's the shift. It's not loud. It's not obvious. It's a language only hearts that pay attention can understand. When they start showing up, even clumsily, it means they're fighting their own nature, retraining their heart to stay in places it once ran from. Every effort, no matter how small, is an act of courage, because for them, trying doesn't come naturally. It's a rebellion against every belief that said, don't need anyone, don't trust love, don't get hurt again. So when you see those small signs, the check-ins, the eye contact that lingers, the moments they don't withdraw, don't underestimate their meaning. Those moments are proof that something inside them is shifting. This is what healing looks like for an avoidant. Not grand gestures, not instant change, but effort, messy, human effort. They may still retreat sometimes, they may still get quiet, but now there's awareness in their silence. You'll feel it, the difference between escape and reflection. Because love, when it begins to grow inside someone who once feared it, doesn't burst into existence. It unfolds gently, one breath at a time, one attempt at a time, and that's when you'll realize they were never incapable of love. They were just waiting to feel safe enough to show it. That's the real shift. Not perfection, but effort. Not promises, but presence. Not words, but the quiet return of a heart learning to trust again. They'll never say it out loud, but they remember. They remember the one who didn't walk away, the one who stayed calm when they pulled away, the one who loved them without trying to fix them. You live somewhere in their silence now, in the spaces between their distractions, their late night scrolling, their quiet drives home. You're the thought that rises when the noise fades, the comfort they once took for granted. They replay it sometimes, not with words but with feelings. How it felt to be seen without judgment, how it felt to rest in someone's energy that asked for nothing but honesty, and how they slowly pushed it away, thinking distance would protect them. That's the silent regret. It doesn't scream, it lingers. It lives in the corners of their mind when they're finally alone. They'll catch themselves wanting to tell you something, a random story, a song they heard, a memory that made them smile. But the message never gets sent, because reaching out would mean admitting they care. And for an avoidant, caring still feels dangerous, so they carry it quietly. The ache, the missing, the knowing. They convince themselves they're fine, that they don't need you, that life is moving on. But every time they feel peace, they remember it once had your face. They remember how you never demanded more. You simply were, soft, grounded, real. And now, every connection after you feels a little too loud, a little too forced. Because you weren't noise, you were calm. That's the regret they never confess. That they ran from the only person who made them feel safe. That they built walls to protect themselves, and those same walls now keep them from the warmth they crave. They may never say your name again, but you remain, not as a wound, but as the echo of what love could have been if fear hadn't been stronger than courage. And in that quiet realization, they finally understand. Losing you wasn't freedom, it was the moment they lost home. So if you ever see that shift, the softened eyes, the hesitant touch, the quiet effort that feels unsure but real, don't mistake it for confusion. That's courage. That's love trying to unlearn fear. Because for an avoidant, love was never the problem. Trust was. They didn't fear you. They feared what loving you would make them feel. Vulnerable, seen, exposed. Everything they once swore they'd never be again. So when they start to lean in, even slightly, it's not weakness, it's transformation. It's their heart, slowly remembering what safety feels like. You don't need to rush them. You don't need to fix them. Just stay grounded in your calm, because your peace teaches their fear what love really is. Steady, patient, safe. And if they ever come back, don't rush to prove your worth. You already did, through your presence, through your silence, through your strength. Maybe they'll return, maybe they won't. But either way, you've already won, because you loved without losing yourself. You cared without chasing. You healed what they couldn't face, and in doing so you became the peace they'll spend years trying to find again. So take a deep breath, and let it go. What's meant for you will never need to run, and what runs was never meant to stay until it was ready to love like you do.